There we go. Okay, so stream should be up and running. Um, oh man, it is not the time that I wanted to do this stream, but making it work. Hey everybody, it has been a minute. Did the fundraiser update stream, what, 2 weeks ago? Um, and have been crazy busy. Um, Life has just been crazy. Whether it's with work or it's with uh, various other matters, groups, assistance to Ukraine, other things I'm involved with. So basically, um, doing stuff off of YouTube, doing stuff offline, has been taking up a huge amount of my time and focus. Um, and yeah, for that I apologize. I've still been doing a lot of stuff in support of Ukraine, just a lot less of it has been visible on this channel. Really want to change that and get back to what we'd been doing before. It's just difficult. I very much believe in doing things directly. And so, like, a good example of this is he's done a few videos and stuff here recently, but um, Andrew Mercado Media has been covering a lot of stuff on the ground in his hometown in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and that and really just focusing on the craziness in the United States a whole lot. Um, and I know for a fact that he's still doing stuff to support Ukraine, but his focus has been on that a whole lot recently. And I got a lot of respect for whether it's in a trench or volunteering on the ground in Ukraine or being out at protests when there's police brutality, or really just being anywhere else out on the ground doing stuff to help people directly. That's the big thing. So, I've been involved in a couple of things here recently where it's been a lot of on the ground being involved with stuff. Um, and it just gets hard to keep up with it all. But all that aside, we still need to do things such as fundraisers for soldiers in Ukraine, such as making sure people are aware of the news. And I'm glad to see, yeah, Mick Ashdown, Hugh G, yeah, Hugh G87. Um, yeah, thanks for being here. Um, and so we're gonna jump into it, do a bit of news tonight. We're gonna do news about what's happening in Ukraine as well as in the United States. I know we don't just exclusively cover Ukraine news here. We've done Republic of Georgia, we've done Taiwan, we've done a couple of different places, but of course the focus is always majority on Ukraine, but covering things happening all around the world to oppose tyranny wherever it may be occurring. All right. Oh, and okay, perfect. Also, I thought that my audio might be off a little in the last stream, but I heard from someone else that they thought that it sounded okay, so we're just gonna roll with it. If it does sound weird, then just let me know in the chat, because I'm having to work with what equipment I have. Someone's sending a bunch of hearts in chat. I don't know who's sending all those hearts, but thank you. Um, anyway, all right, let's go ahead and jump into it first. We do still have, you'll notice I don't have any of the fundraiser bars up right this second. We do still have fundraisers active. Oh, shoot, I forgot to pull up. Hold on. In fact, speaking of fundraisers, there is something that happened which is a huge thing that I want to highlight. And it might have actually happened a long time ago. I've just been gone for so long that maybe it's been announced on other channels, But hold on a sec. Let me pull this up. Come on. That's the other thing. I need to see about getting a new computer. What I'm using right now is okay, but it's also a little bit slow. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Here it is. Finally. Okay, so as you know, there's been a couple of fundraisers other than our main fundraisers that have always kind of been in the descriptions for these streams and videos. So we do still have the 110 drones for the 110th Mechanized Brigade going. If you want to donate to that, the link is in the description of the video of the stream, as always. And the donations we were doing with Stream Elements for Taiwan, that was met. And they got the radios that they needed. And talking with them over there in Taiwan about making sure everything's okay, everything's safe. Well, they're preparing as they can. Our friend Kingbun, who's been here on the channel. And in exciting news, if I go over, yeah, let's just put this over here real fast. And, oh, no, we'll just share the whole screen. There we go. And then do a display capture. Not display, but window capture. Project Tatiana, or Campaign 22 that Project Constantine had been doing for a long time. So this is something that was announced a while. Geez. And of course it doesn't want to display nicely. Well, I can fix that. There we go. Alright. Yeah, that works. So the goal, and this had been going for a while, was 320,000 British pounds. I want to say, oh man, when was the last donation? Stations for the 67th Brigade. Look, I mean, not too long ago, just last month, 1 month ago, 3 Fossibot charging stations for the 67th Brigade, 3 Fossibot chargers for the guys in the Unmanned Systems Battalion of the 67th Brigade. Yes, Helena said 2 in the video, but the third one was in the front of the car because it didn't fit in the back, and she forgot that they bought 3. Again, this is not a fundraiser that, Tridents Against Tyrants spearheaded. This is a Project Constantine fundraiser. I want to emphasize that this is a Project Constantine fundraiser. But yeah, they continue to get donations, and they met their goal. They met their goal of a lofty goal, like way more than we could than we have donated. We have been able to fundraise here on this channel alone. So very proud of them. Very good work. 321,091 British pounds and 13 pence. Yeah, or cents. That's pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, what else? So they reached their super huge goal, which is fantastic. We hit the goal, our small, more modest goal on the Taiwan fundraiser. We still have the other active fundraiser. So yeah, looking good, looking good. Next, let's go ahead and with all of that covered a bit, let's jump into the news. Yeah. So let me open up. Yeah, Mitch says, yeah, finally closed Pete's fundraiser. It took a long time. Yep, exactly. Man. And I actually saw Pete's picture recently. I was helping out. I've been traveling a whole lot and didn't even know someone would have it there, but somebody had his patch at a NAFO booth in support of Ukraine uh, recently when I was traveling through the East Coast of the United States. So, yeah, yeah. Keep Pete in your memory, everybody. Um, yeah, he was a really good guy. A really, really good guy. And Tetiana, too. Um, so, both Pete and Tetiana, they did great work. Project Constantine continues to do invaluable work in Ukraine. All right. Now then, there you are. All right, we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start with some information about what's going on with regards to the war and technology related to the front lines. Wind racers. This is from Militarny, and oh yeah, here we go. Let me copy this, and I will put it into the chat. Oh man, it's actually too big to put in the chat. No, that is super annoying. By just a few characters, it's too long. Okay, well, damn. I will make sure it goes into the description of the video of the stream. Um, yeah, because it's literally too long to fit into the chat. Okay, well, let's keep going. All right, wind racers. We like to talk about ultra UAV, unmanned aerial vehicles, as the Jeep of the skies in the world of drones, a platform that can be tailored to carry out many different missions. Militarny. Ultra or ULTRA is the heavy lift long assistance drone produced by British company Windracers that has been used by Ukrainian forces for several years. These are modular platforms capable of carrying significant cargo and performing precise payload drops at designated locations. In its base configuration, the Windracers Ultra carries over 150 kilograms of payload across distances of more than 1,000 kilometers, including special operations, intelligence gathering, and frontline resupply. Windracers is already working with Ukrainian companies and is considering new partnerships to continue its activities in the Ukrainian market. Ahead of the UK-Ukraine 100-year partnership forum, Militarny spoke with Mark Farrell, sales defense director at Windracers, about the operational use of heavy lift long distance drones in Ukraine and the changes introduced based on user feedback. Um, yeah, so operations in Ukraine. How long have the Wind Racer drones been? This is actually, I think that said this is a 14-minute read. So this actually, oh wow, this is a rather long article. So we might not go through the whole thing. Here's an image of this particular device. This Ultra UAV from the UK. Remember that Pete was both he was in Ukraine and working on Ukrainian citizenship. He was also South African as well as British. So this hails from um, Pete's homeland as well, which is very nice. Well, he, not born there, but his home, where he was a citizen. The Ultra Drone. In that sense, it is no different than crewed aviation, as it can be used as reconnaissance, as resupply, or to drop things or sense things. Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions. One platform, multiple purposes. Are there two main types of drones, logistics and reconnaissance? Are these basic categories? Ultra is a single system and one that can be configured to support different missions and use cases. How it gets configured depends on the requirements of the mission and the outcome the user wants to achieve. Take, for example, reconnaissance or data gathering missions. Fundraisers doesn't try to tie in customers saying, you must use this camera, you must use this radio, you must use that. We leave it open for them to put the things in there they think are best or that are changing, and we assist in the integration of that technology to Ultra's base configuration. So, yeah, this is a really long article. I mostly wanted to highlight this because this is an example of a company where, um, especially where the integration of different components into their existing drone is something that they encourage. Um, Great to see that. I just found this rather fascinating, especially drones of this size, to for heavy payloads for to kind of show people a bit more this side of drone warfare because everyone is used to quadcopters and smaller commercial drones. This is something interesting from the world of drone drone technology that can be adapted for warfare, which is being used by Ukraine. That's a little more expensive, a little more, a little harder to get sometimes. Okay. Anyway, this whole thing is very interesting, but it also does just kind of seem like a giant ad placement for this particular company for wind racers. Let's just kind of get the takeaway, and we'll go to the next article. Yeah. All right. In Ukraine, when we see a platform that can carry payloads, we often assume it could be explosives. Do you consider developing kamikaze drones or deep strike drones? Windracer's primary focus is advancing the capabilities of the Ultra platform, enhancing its range, payload capacity, autonomy, and resilience to deliver maximum value across both defense and civilian applications. And training, how does it work in Ukraine? We operate a standardized training program that is adapted to suit the trainee's background, whether or not they have prior aviation experience. In most cases, both operators and maintainers can be fully trained within a matter of weeks. The program blends practical hands-on instruction with structured learning, enabling participants to quickly become proficient and operationally useful on the Ultra platform. Training is about 3 weeks long for the program. All of this to say, um, I'm not currently, I'm sure that they are, of course, being used, but I'm not currently aware of any fundraisers for this particular drone to units. Um, but I wanted to highlight it to see if anyone who's watching this stream, if you know of anyone, any soldiers, any units who are using this, anyone with an interest in Ukraine with this type of a drone for a larger, heavier payloads. Feel free to get in touch with me at the Tridents Against Tyrants email address. This is something I'd like to talk with some contacts of mine from Washington D.C., from on the ground in Ukraine itself. This is just kind of something we haven't, uh, I haven't had a chance to touch on. It's also more expensive compared to, say, the reconnaissance drones made of that specialized cardboard-like material from Australia. Um, but yeah, I'm very interested to learn more about the applications of this. So that was something I wanted to go over real fast. Kind of a simple read to start with. Let's move on to the next article. Um, we're going to continue on with focus on Ukraine, but first, I do want to go over a few things related to what's happening in the United States. So, as you know, just like many places around the world, whether it is Nepal or Madagascar, or remember when South Korea almost had that coup? Remember when that happened and it was really big news? Um, and protesters were, you know, like pushing back against soldiers over there at the Blue House or Parliament building in South Korea. There's been the war, of course, in Ukraine, um, and in Myanmar, and the horrific genocide in Sudan. Of course, everything that's still ongoing with Israel and Palestine. There's just a million things happening in the world. The whole world seems like it's on fire. But in the United States, of course, the second administration or regime, honestly, the regime of Donald Trump continues on past its first year. And there are 3 more years to go. So, unfortunately, as we all know, because it's been everywhere in the news in the U.S. and a few other countries, I'm sure. Not the whole world. Yeah, the whole world, but I'm sure news has reached all over. But I don't know how heavy the focus is in other countries that aren't more directly affected. But of course, in the U.S., it is a major focus. So the killings of Renee Good and of Alex Pretty in Minneapolis. Extremely tragic and horrible what happened to them. Want to highlight this because this is a major moment in U.S. history and a horrible moment, and one where, it's probably still not over. And this is just, I guess, a boiling point, I guess you could say, with regards to how Americans are reacting to this news. But they aren't the first two. There's plenty of non-citizens, many non-citizens who have died over the years because of ICE. And it's picked up a lot, and there were quite a few more than usual in 2025, and already I believe at least a few in 2026 already. But either way, yeah, it's horrible. So let's go over a bit of news related to this. From let's see if this one. I hope that this one actually fits inside of the chat. Let me see if it does or not. It does. Okay, that one fit. So that's good. Reports from BringMeTheNews.com. Greg Bovino leaving Minnesota and Kristi Noem at risk of losing her job. So Greg Bovino, who is one of the heads of ICE, and Kristi Noem, who of course is a spokesperson, for the I'm sorry, Border Patrol rather. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino has been demoted, from what I understand. And let's read the rest of this from this article. Bovino has been the face of the federal immigration operation in Minnesota. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino will be leaving Minnesota on Tuesday, according to numerous reports. CNN was the first to report on Monday that Bovino and some federal immigration agents will be leaving Minnesota, and NBC News has since corroborated the report. In addition to Minneapolis, Mayor Jacob Frey confirming that he spoke to President Donald Trump and that some federal agents will begin leaving the state. The president agreed that the present situation cannot continue. Some federal agents will begin leaving the area tomorrow, and I will continue pushing for the rest involved in this operation to go, Frey said. Minneapolis will continue to cooperate with state and federal law enforcement on real criminal investigations, but we will not participate in unconstitutional arrests of our neighbors or enforce federal immigration law. Let me just say this, guys. I'm not even I am very proud of Minnesota. And I feel like many people across North America, whether you're Canadian, American, or Mexican. Honestly, I've had people from Mexico message me in Spanish saying, "Que viva Minnesota!" So it's like, yeah, I mean, Minnesota is doing people proud, fighting back, pushing back. And they've lost two very wonderful people, peaceful people, who did nothing violent and are smeared by a regime that everyone knows does nothing but lie. All right, Frey added, violent criminals should be held accountable based on the crimes they commit, not based on where they are from. Um, oh yeah, Greg Bovino, the guy that doesn't wear a mask. Yeah. Um, but the killer of Alex Preddy is still killers because it was multiple. We don't know which one pulled the trigger, but there was what, like five of them. Yeah. Um. All right. Bovino, however, may not be simply being reassigned. The Atlantic's Nick Miroff, citing a Homeland Security source and two others with knowledge of the situation, reports that Bovino has removed. Uh, I think this is a typo. I think that's supposed to be was removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander at Large and will return to his former job in El Centro, California, where he is expected to retire soon. So, no rep. I just want to point this out. Demotion or not, leaving the public eye or not, this is not. This is not consequences, really. This is not someone who's being, you know, arrested. This is not someone who is even losing their job and, going to have trouble finding work afterward. This is just literally go back to an old job and then retire. So it pisses me off. It makes me pretty angry. It's good that he's not there causing any more hell or leading the charge on that, but also where's the justice? The U.S. justice system is a damn joke. Miroff added in his report that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is also at risk of losing her job. Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Um, hey, Can KSGG. Good to see you. He's not being held to account at all. Exactly. Um, After Border Patrol agents fatally shot 37-year-old U.S. citizen Alex Preddy in South Minneapolis on Saturday, Noem said Preddy, who was an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center, wanted to, quote, inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. We all know that's bullshit. Preddy had no criminal record and was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry, and videos from the shooting appear to show a federal agent taking a gun from Preddy's holster before the fatal shots were fired. Bovino, and let me make this clear, everybody. While I do try to be, a lot of the time, legitimately centrist, willing to listen to both sides, etc., 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 blah, 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 I'm not so aggressively centrist that you're ever going to see me, dismiss stuff. At this point, maybe there was a time where people would say, no, no, we need the Trump supporters, we're going to lose Republican support, conservative support. Dude, I don't care if you're a conservative or Republican, or liberal or Democrat, or progressive, or capitalist, or a socialist, or, monarchist, or whatever. Okay? Look at the insanity around us. Look at the insanity in this particular instance in the United States that's happening right now. And Americans are aware of it. People outside America, other countries, others are aware of it. I have friends and family from around the world who will message and talk to people I know on the ground in the U.S. Whenever I'm on the ground in the U.S. and be like, "Hey, are you guys okay?" So yeah, no, this channel is Tridents Against Tyrants. And I have always maintained that Donald Trump is a tyrant, Vladimir Putin is a tyrant, Xi Jinping is a tyrant, Khamenei from Iran is a tyrant. Honestly, Benjamin Netanyahu, I would put him in that camp as well. Tyrant. Yeah, so we stand against tyrants here at Tridents Against Tyrants. I also have, not talking about the people of Palestine, but not the most favorable opinions of some who claim to be political leaders of the Palestinian Authority, but also they're not the ones bombing the shit out of people, and that's why, we're focused on Ukraine primarily here on this channel, but we're going to call anything we need to out wherever it happens in the world. There's no favorites to be had here. I want to make that clear. Anyway, okay, rant over. Rant over. Um, Bovino then praised the agents and said they, not Pretty, are the victims. Fuck Greg. Fuck Greg Bovino. The suspect put himself in that situation, Bovino said on CNN's State of the Union. The victims are the Border Patrol agents there. With Bovino out, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, will take over the operation in Minnesota. I had another article I wanted to pull up just to underscore how ironic it is that this channel, which was born out of the need to, well, yeah, I mean, honestly, just like many other channels and many other nonprofits and groups out there and individuals who are doing what they can to help Ukraine, born out of a desire to assist Ukrainian soldiers and civilians, I've always hated the title czar of any sort. And there's border czar, there's what economics czar. There's like a lot of different individuals through U.S. history who have had the unofficial title czar, and it's just kind of appointed on to people by administrations. I've hated it, and this one more so than ever before. So anyway, Tom Homan's heading to Minnesota. Tom Homan is a piece of shit. Trump said Homan will be speaking with both Governor Tim Walz and Frey. Bovino has been the face of the Trump administration's Operation Metro Surge, which began on December 1st and has blossomed into a surge of an estimated 3,000 agents and investigators roaming the streets. The number of people arrested since the operation began is allegedly at least 3,000, according to Homeland Security, though the last official report from the department came a week ago. So, to all Americans listening, please, go out there, be in the streets, protest, take part in boycotts, take part in speaking out against the regime of Donald Trump. Go register to vote, and also realize that voting alone is not going to get the U.S. out of this. It has already been made so clear with how broken everything is at the international level, at the domestic level. Other countries don't trust the U.S. the same way they used to anymore. This second Trump term, this second Trump regime, has American allies so freaked out by what they see in terms of how the U.S. treats its allies, in terms of how it treats its own people, in terms of how uninformed policy decisions affect everything from human rights to economic viability, that even when Trump is gone and if MAGA is defeated and cast off and loses its influence, kind of like the Tea Party back in the day, the Tea Party evolved into MAGA. Whenever MAGA falls from grace, MAGA is going to evolve into whatever the MAGA and the Tea Party of tomorrow is going to be, whatever it's going to be called. Get out there, vote, make changes, and push to reform the American system, because other countries aren't going to trust a nation where they know this could happen again, even if everything, there's no reset button on this. Anyway, again, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's get back to Ukraine. But I had to talk about this at least a bit because, yeah, it's an elephant in the room that maybe some people don't want to talk about. We have to talk about it. All right, next. From Reuters. Okay. Oh, also let me check something real fast. Okay, cool. All right. From Reuters, and let me see if it will fit into the chat. It does. Russian attack on Ukraine's Kharkiv causes mass power outages. Now, here's something that is very, very important, everybody. It is wintertime right now. And while helping soldiers is incredibly important, it is crucial. We also need to do everything we can to help civilians. And Ukraine does have its what are they? The invincibility points or the mobile stations for warmth, shelter, and power that they had been running. And there are shelters, there are other places, but the electrical grid in Ukraine, it's taken such a battering um, and is still in the line of fire. It's a horrible situation this winter. There's not enough air defenses. Um, just like at the beginning of the war, before that not really sweet spot because there's never really been enough given to Ukraine in general. But before there was that point where um, there was some more air defenses that were provided, and it was possible to intercept more of this. Maybe like around what 2023, early 2024, maybe. Um, in the early years of the war, that yeah, that first winter, and um, it was so bad. That's where it's at right now. People need generators. People need to be able to stay warm. Item one of four. Oh, that is for an image. Emergency. Okay. Emergency employees work at the site of a school hit during a Russian missile strike amid Russia's attack on Ukraine and Kharkiv, Ukraine, January 26, 2026. Russian drones and missiles strikes on Monday hit Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, knocking out power to 80% of the city and surrounding region and striking apartment buildings, a school, and a kindergarten, local officials said. Uh, Mitch Ashdown says, kind of nothing left to fix now in the Ukraine power system. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it is. Uh, yeah, it's bad. It's gonna be like multiple hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars to rebuild Ukraine, guys. Um, oh, and it is true. Belgorod also got put into darkness. I mean, Russia's also getting a lot of strikes uh, on its power grid and its energy infrastructure. So yeah, we're seeing that in Russia now too. Um, but uh, two people were injured. Regional Governor Ole Sinyet-Kubov said in a video posted on the Telegram messaging app. The Reuters Inside Track newsletter is your essential. Oh, our energy system. Our energy system came under attack and there was quite serious damage. All crews are at work to eliminate all the negative consequences quickly, Sinyekubov said. Um, it annoys me sometimes how this will put other random unrelated things in the middle as though it's part of the article. About 80% of the city of Kharkiv and Kharkiv region is without electricity, he added. The constant threat of further air raids was complicating repair efforts, he said. Kharkiv Mayor Ihor Terekov said an energy site had been targeted in the city as nighttime temperatures dipped to negative 14 degrees Celsius or 7 degrees Fahrenheit. A city school was badly damaged, he added. Unofficial Telegram channels posted pictures showing the city a frequent Russian target located 30 kilometers or 18 miles from the Russian border had been plunged into darkness. Photos showed parts of building interiors seriously damaged. In Kryvyi, President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown southeast of Kharkiv, Russian drones hit a high-rise apartment building, the head of the industrial city's military administration said. Alexander Vilkul said on Telegram that the impact triggered a fire, but residents were safely evacuated. Reuters could not independently verify the reports, and there was no immediate reaction from Russian officials. The Ukrainian capital, Kiev, has been hit by 3 massive air attacks since the new year, knocking out power and heating to hundreds of buildings. Alright. And apparently this story was refiled to correct grammar in paragraph 4 at some point. Big thank you to the journalists who brought this story to us. Reporting by Ron Popesky, editing by Paul Simao and Himani Sarkar. So, yeah, right there. There's the credit. Now then, also a big shout out to the emergency responders and the repairmen who go out there in order to fix energy infrastructure in Ukraine. It is an incredibly dangerous job, especially when you're not a soldier. You know that there's limited or no air defense out there to assist you if you get targeted again while doing repairs. Um, so yeah, I just want to say much appreciation to those brave men and women. Slava Ukraini. Um, okay, where are we at? Actually, where are we at? Because this is not telling me. I guess my settings. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're about 40 minutes into this stream. Um, yeah. Okay. So that's the news. Um, there's always more going on. Always more that needs to be done. Um, in terms of what we can do, I am looking at because we do a lot of our focus on like in Taiwan with Gingbun, civilian defense forces that focus on how they would support or work alongside Taiwanese forces to defend in an emergency, whether it's a natural disaster or a literal invasion from the People's Republic of China. They prepare for any of those situations. We do a lot of stuff with a focus on soldiers, whether it's drones or anti-drone guns or anything else in Ukraine. Um, and I'm sure there's so much stuff that could be done in the U.S. to support protesters, those who are out on the street. I know a lot of people who are doing different fundraisers just, to bail people out or help families in need when they go to the camps, which are essentially concentration camps. People die in those camps, especially in Florida. It's been bad, or at least it more higher percentage wise. It was worse last year than it has been for a while, long while. But with how cold it is this winter, uh, I'm thinking maybe a generator of some sort. There's a couple of nonprofits that do that kind of work. I need to look into them, but perhaps we can see about a fundraiser to try to help a family or help out with distribution of generators right now. Um, Even outside of this channel, if you guys have been thinking, what can I do to help most right now? Help a Ukrainian family stay warm. Go find those fundraisers, everybody. The groups that specifically are helping with winter gear and with generators, because it is deadly cold in a lot of places. The winter storm in the U.S. Imagine the winter storm in the U.S., but also all of the things that are supposed to keep you safe and keep you warm are being blown up, and you could be blown up with them. So, yeah. Anyway, that is, I think, what the next fundraiser is going to be, a civilian-focused fundraiser to help people. Um, let's see. Let me look at the chat right quick, because I see a lot of messages. uh, let's see. They can't recharge the mobile power if there's no main power. Yep, that's true. Can't recharge mobile power if there's no main power. Yeah. Um, what would be especially useful, and I don't know what the situation. You know what? I need to look into this. Let's, you know what? Let's do a little search right quick, because I'm curious. Warmth from Poland. Oh, look at this. Look at this. When your own infrastructure is bombed and you know It'll keep getting bombed over and over and over and over and over and over again. Well, what's the solution? Well, I would say the solution is you need to have good friends who you know are less likely to get bombed nearby. Um, let's see. Canada's friendly since they have a lot of lumber. Has to be second adult. Kerosene heaters work pretty good. All right, let me share the screen. We have another piece of news we can go over real fast. Okay, I say that, but then I go to the reader mode and it replaces the entire article with nothing but "We respect your privacy." Come on. Oh, why is this not loading? That's so annoying. Oh, maybe it's because it's a video report. Yeah, that's fine. Shipment reach has intensified. Well, how long is this video? Because if it's 2 or 3 minutes, that's fine. If it's like, it is 3 minutes long. Yeah, we'll watch this video. Why not? It's from TVP World from Poland. So let me pull this up so you can see it. And make sure that I get it so that audio is also, so it's actually audible. There we go. This one will work, or it should. It better. I'll be annoyed if it doesn't. Alright, I'm going to go on mute so we can watch this together. Actually, first I'm going to move this to where we can watch it, but I can still see the chat. Because I didn't set up my third monitor today, because life is busy. Alright. Oh, maybe I'll have to mute from my device itself instead, but that's fine. Alright. Let me know if you're able to hear this. One sec.
Both the Polish authorities and private donors have stepped up to meet Ukraine's needs as Russia has continued to target Ukrainian power stations with multiple The winter energy crisis in Ukraine continues to worsen due to Russia's bombardment of Ukraine's civilian energy sector. As the country experiences its coldest winter in decades, at times leaving 80% of Ukraine without power, and in many cases also without central heating and running water. In response to the unfolding humanitarian emergency, Poland has donated hundreds of power generators to Ukraine, with one of the first shipments arriving in the Ukrainian capital on Monday. Both the Polish authorities and private donors have stepped up to meet Ukraine's needs as Russia has continued to target Ukrainian power stations with multiple drone and missile attacks in January, leaving the country's already devastated energy infrastructure on the brink of collapse. As the organisers of a crowdfunder to supply power generators to Kyiv arrived in the embattled city, they say they were overwhelmed by the response of Poles to their campaign.
We asked ourselves, maybe we can find the money for 100 generators in 1 week. Is it possible? Are we enough crazy to do it? Yes, so why not? And during the 1 day, we realized that we already got a 1 million. So people asked us, put the higher targets. So we make a 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's 10. And in the middle of this operation, now we are delivering this stuff.
Poland's ambassador to Ukraine also stressed the importance of Warsaw's support for Kyiv in its time of need, as the city is routinely experiencing temperatures below minus 15 degrees Celsius.
Polish Friends of Ukraine decided to first to start quite a small public crowdfunding, which blew out of proportion. To be honest, we started first with, I guess, 1 million zloty, around 200,000 euros. Right now is more than €1.5 million after just a few days.
Kyiv's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, welcomed the arrival of the donated generators and thanked the Polish authorities and the campaigners who sent them, saying they would help alleviate the crisis unfolding in Ukraine's capital.
These generators can't cover the whole needs what we have, but anyway, will be very helpful to be strong and to give the help to some districts where we need electricity.
With Ukrainian intelligence warning of further Russian attacks against Ukrainian energy infrastructure and temperatures expected to stay well below freezing throughout winter, the Ukrainian authorities will at least be hoping that these generators can provide some respite to the embattled Ukrainian capital. I'm Oz Kataji for TVP World from
Okay, there we go. So, yeah, all that to emphasize Poland is doing what it can to help. Look for things on the ground in Ukraine, but also, I know there are good people. There are good people in Hungary, there are good people in Slovakia, there are people even in the countries we don't think of as always being the most pro-Ukrainian because their governments aren't. But there are good people in all of the neighboring countries of Ukraine. Yeah, there are in all of the neighboring countries of Ukraine, but of course the only ones where you could find legitimate groups helping with aid to Ukraine are going to be the ones that are EU and NATO countries. So the EU and NATO countries, especially Poland, that border Ukraine, look to them also for options for things such as generators, energy infrastructure that might maybe is shared with Ukraine, large shipments of what can help save lives and keep people from freezing to death. Yeah. So anyway, Ukraine, Poland, any other initiatives from neighboring countries around Ukraine. We're gonna find one, and probably it's either gonna be on the ground in Ukraine or it's gonna be based in Poland. But let's do a fundraiser to try to help out. Was sending something. Was sending something to help keep people warm. I think that would be very good this winter. Honestly, it's been so much going on, everybody. Kind of late to the game. We're in the middle of winter. Ideally, a lot of that should be done before the winter hits. But yeah, it's still needed more than ever in the midst of the winter. So, yeah, Poland has done a lot in spite of NATO blocking them. Yeah, I agree. Um, I did forget. You know what I forgot? The Q&A, which I don't think there's really time for me to put it up right now. Um, but yeah, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put them in here. Um, anyway, okay, I think we're gonna call this stream good for now. This was also good for me to just get back into the swing of doing streams. Because the last one we did was really just a quick update to let you know what was going on, that the 3D printer we fundraised got to where it needed to go, uh, that the fundraising for Taiwan was taken care of and they got the radios, that we still are doing the long-term FPV drone fundraiser, even though it's super huge for a channel of this size. So please share the fundraisers. Oh yeah, and to celebrate that Project Constantine hit their crazy, huge, amazing goal. So please share the fundraisers that we're doing, and donate if you can. And yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Thank you for standing with Ukraine. Keep an eye out. There's an actual video, not just a stream, coming that I'm going to get up and put on the channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that. All right. Thanks, everybody. And stay safe. Stand with Ukraine. All right. Slava Ukraini.